Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 140. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this fastidious Wednesday evening, Earth date January 24th, 2018. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me, as always, my co-host, Brandon Full. Say hello, Brandon.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Brandon.
Brandon.
Oh.
Whoa.
I'm not sure what that is supposed to be.
I have no idea. I just, I did a bump of Coke before we started, so.
Yeah.
You know.
And it turns you into, what is that comedian's name? I know we've talked about him before.
Comedian?
Yeah, it's not Rip Taylor. It's older than Rip Taylor. Hello there. He was on the dating game all the time. I don't know. We don't need to start with a peck and hunt for who this comedian was, but we've talked about him before.
I have no idea. I was thinking a little more Nathan Lane, I guess. On my end, that's where my head went. It was kind of Nathan Laney.
Paul Lynde. That's who I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. Paul Lynde. Yeah.
A distinctive, campy, and snarky persona that often poked fun at his barely in the closet homosexuality.
Right.
That's from Wikipedia.
Good on you, Wikipedia.
So what have you been up to?
Did you just turn the tables on me, you son of a bitch?
I did.
Who the hell do you think you are?
Brandon Full, table turner. Coming this fall.
To ABC. You're going to be replacing Inhumans.
All of these tables, what are we going to do with them? Leave that to me.
That was a real good lip foley.
Thank you. That was a table being turned, by the
way. Yeah. I have been streaming.
Yes, you have.
I've been streaming. You set me up for this. To ask me what I'm doing.
Yeah, I did.
I see what you did, Brandon. You're not fooling me.
I'm famous. Famously great.
But no, I have been streaming. Ever since we partnered with Humble Bundle, we've been getting access to just random like early access and just the ability to get some. I mean, they'll give out freebies to everybody, and now I am more aware of the freebies, because it comes right to my email and I check it all the time.
Yeah, and we've mentioned that before, some of the cool games that we've got that we're not really able to talk about yet, or weren't able to talk about anyway.
Right, exactly. And so I decided that in an effort to continue to grow our show and our reach into the internet lands, that instead of waiting around until I could finally afford to get a new computer, I just said, fuck it. And I started streaming stuff anyway. And I mean, it does okay. It does okay. I'd like for it to be better, but
I think it seems to work really well. I mean, I've watched you almost every night that you've streamed.
Yeah.
That you've streamed. And it doesn't seem to be spotty or anything.
Yeah, that's good. That's real good.
So what's your experience with streaming? What do you think of it so far? Being like a weekend or a couple days in?
I mean, I think it's been like 5 days now that I've streamed, and I'm really enjoying it. I like getting in there. I really wish I had more people watching, to be perfectly honest. Twitch.tv/duelingogres plug. But genuinely, my experience with streaming comes largely from Smokealoke, who we had on way back in like episode 34.
Yeah.
And he is a streamer. He's local around here, but he made his job streaming. So he streams 8 hours of the day. And he always looks like he's having a really good time doing it. And that's part of the reason why I kind of wanted to experience it. I like the whole technical aspect of it as well, building out my OBS, because that's what I use for getting my stream out to the internet, and fiddling with all of my little graphics, that's right up my alley. But when he seems like he's happiest not just playing the game and entertaining people, but also just sitting around and bullshitting with his community.
Yeah.
And man, that's lovely. I mean, that is just, it's so much fun to watch somebody who has come so far and has taken the plunge of like, this is going to be my job, and seeing them interact with their community and just being someone who you think of, like someone, he gets gifts sent to him. And
he gets fan art and stuff.
Yeah, and he sends out winning stuff. He does contests and sends stuff out. He recently had a contest where a few different people won some different systems, so he had to go out and purchase systems to send to these people. So, I mean, it's really neat, and that's the part that, like I said, I enjoy the technical side of it a lot, and I can get by with fiddling, but I really want to grow a community. I like people. I like talking with people, and just having a bunch of people to talk to, interact with is really interesting.
Well, and if you think about it, where our podcast is, I mean, we've had people send us gifts and fan art before.
Yeah.
We've sent out prizes to people before. So,
Yeah.
we've done it too.
Yeah, we have. It just seems like it's so few and far between, because there's this certain disconnect when it comes to the podcast where, not to sound like a new age millennial, but there's a certain amount of instant gratification when you're streaming.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm a huge proponent of instant gratification in all its forms.
Right. So, with the podcast, it takes me 1 to 3 days to get it out. And then we do that, and then we have people responding on our Facebook or wherever else. And most of the time it's on Facebook, partially because we're bad at checking our Twitter, but it's still, even though we get the listens that we get, we still have a lot of what you would call in the Twitch community lurkers who just don't respond. They just listen to our show and go about their day.
Yeah.
So I will tell you from, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody when it comes to watching something. I will talk to Smoke, and I mean, his chat is going all the time, and he'll usually see that I'm there. He'll give me a greeting and say, how's it going? He actually, when I was playing Staxel last night, he popped in for a minute. And I think it was actually right before you did. And I don't have all of my systems set up to see like when people are showing up in my chat, just because if I have too many things running on my computer at once, then we will see the effects of it in the stream.
Yeah.
But he said that, everything looked pretty good, and he kind of lurked for a few minutes before he ended up having to go to bed because it was fairly late,
Yeah.
And he had just finished up with his stream, so he had worked for 8 hours. And he said, yeah, it's really cool that you're. So he was real positive, and it's nice to get some gratification from another streamer who was like, yeah, everything looked pretty good, and he's like, I'm not a big Minecraft fan, so. And to be fair, the Staxel thing playing by myself is a little. I tend to zone in because Staxel was kind of like a Minecraft / Harvest Moon amalgamation, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
And the problem I have with the Minecraft style games where you can just build whatever is I will fall into the zone and I'll just stare and just do things. And I'll forget that I'm on a stream and I have to be talking while I'm doing this. So, and that's something that you have to build over time. It's just being able to talk to yourself.
Which seems like a really tough skill to be able to do.
Yeah. You can see that I have been practicing over the past few days because you haven't had a chance to get a word in edgewise.
Well, I like hearing you talk about streaming because it's something new that you're interested in. And I can tell just the fact that we're over video chat, watching you, your eyes are lighting up. Like this is something that's exciting for you, and it's cool to see.
Yeah. So yeah, it is. I'm really enjoying it. So if you haven't tuned in to see a stream, I don't know if I can manage to do it every night, but I'm going to do it as much as I can.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. Even if it's only for an hour or two, just keep an eye out on those socials because I post it every time I'm getting ready to go live.
Yeah, hop on there and comment with Remington and make his night.
Yeah, please do. Don't be a lurker. Be a talker.
Be a smirker.
So yeah, what have you been up to?
Nothing. Following your interesting stuff, I have zero to talk about, really.
The tables have turned, Brandon.
Did I talk on the podcast about how I broke my chair?
Ooh, I think you did.
Okay.
You were reaching for a burrito.
A burrito. I couldn't remember if I told it on the podcast or if I just told you and Kevin in private chat.
Yeah, no, I remember you talking about it. Yes, I'm pretty sure that you talked about it on the show last time.
Okay. So that is really the excitement that I've had. I'm still riding that break in the chair wave.
Still riding that burrito break.
I'm still milking that burrito cow. Give me that sweet. Okay, if you milked a burrito cow, would it give you sour cream or would it give you refried beans?
Oh, or like seasoned beef. I feel like each udder would be its own.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you could make a full burrito just from squeezing all the udders?
Yeah. There you go. You've got like your seasoned beef, your refried beans, your sour cream, and your cheese.
It would be like nacho cheese that would come out though, right? It wouldn't be like the shredded cheese, I would hope.
I think it would depend on the breed of the cow.
So if you have like the Holstein, it would be nacho cheese. If you have the brown, it might be the shredded.
Right, yeah.
Those are the two types of cows I know, Holstein and brown.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that really matters.
Yeah. No, I had in cool news, I made a New Year's resolution to take better care of myself mentally as far as my mental health goes.
Yeah.
I had a doctor's appointment today, and last week, actually the day we recorded, I had a doctor's appointment and I ended up leaving the office before I actually saw my doctor because I just let panic get to me. It just overwhelmed me and I had to leave.
Yeah.
And I was real bummed out and kind of disappointed with myself, that I didn't push through.
Right.
So I had my rescheduled doctor's appointment today and I made it through fine. I didn't have a panic attack or anything.
Yeah.
So I consider that a little win.
I was reading, that's good. I was reading, I don't know where I came across it, but I was reading another, I think it was on Pinterest.
Okay.
But somebody was commenting or something, and they have you heard of the 5-minute rule?
No.
For anxiety?
Mm-mm.
Or the 5 things. So it's something like, let me see if I can actually find it. Yeah, okay. So this is a coping technique where I think there's 2 different schools of thought on it, but it's called the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique.
Okay.
And you start off by acknowledging 5 things that you see around you. So maybe it's a bird, maybe it's a pencil, maybe it's a spot on the ceiling, however big or small. State 5 things that you see.
Okay.
And then acknowledge 4 things you can touch around you. Maybe it's your hair, your hands, grass, a pillow, whatever it may be. List out the 4 things that you can feel. Acknowledge 3 things that you hear. This needs to be external. Do not focus on your thoughts. Maybe you can hear a clock, a car, a dog park. Maybe you can hear your tummy rumbling. Internal noises that make external sounds can count. What is audible in the moment is what you list.
Okay.
Acknowledge 2 things that you can smell. This one might be hard if you're not in a stimulating environment. If you cannot automatically sniff something out, walk nearby to find a scent. Maybe you walk to your bathroom and you smell soap, or outside you can smell anything in nature, or even could be as simple as leaning over and smelling a pillow on the couch or a pencil. So whatever you can put your sniffer on, sniff it.
Okay.
And then acknowledge 1 thing you can taste. What does the inside of your mouth taste like? Gum or coffee or the sandwich from lunch? Focus on your mouth as the last step and take in what you can taste. These 5 steps are a way to ground yourself in the now, take you out of your head and help stop your flooded thoughts. In cognitive behavioral therapy, it is believed that your thoughts are directly linked to how you feel, and although we feel like we lose control of our thought processes, we have tools that can help us gain back a sense of control and lead to healthier thought patterns. In moments of anxiety or triggered trauma, it's important to stay present and focus to help find symptoms of relief. Or
Yeah,
to help find symptom relief.
It does sound like a cognitive behavioral therapy thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah, I thought whenever we talk about your anxiety issues, it's funny the things that I have seen over the past few days, because anxiety has become something that it has become a lot more present in society, it seems like. And I'm sure it's partially just, how far we've come, but I think that it's very much tied to the lifestyles that we lead nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And, going back to the instant gratification thing, I think that anxiety can very much stem from or grow into a potential problem as we suffer from this instant gratification world that we live in. Because if something hasn't started to go the way that we want it to go in a certain period of time, then we start getting anxious about it.
Yeah.
And that can snowball. And if it's to the point where it's just something you just have to wait on, it's just the nature of the thing that's going on that you just have to wait and see, we have put ourselves at a detriment with this instant gratification that we always expect results immediately. So
that's part of it too, is when I left the doctor last week, it was because I had to sit and wait, and I sat for like 15 minutes waiting, and the whole time my brain was just going and going and going and going.
Yeah.
Had I gotten in to see her immediately, I think it would have gone differently.
Right. And did you get in to see her pretty immediately this time around, or did you just happen to?
Yeah, like 2 minutes I was in.
Yeah, and when you're sitting there just waiting for a thing that you don't particularly care for to begin with, like, I know that you don't want to go to therapy.
No, I do.
Well, I mean, not that you don't want to, but there's a thing that men do where we don't want to acknowledge that things are wrong with us, and that runs deeper than most things. Even if we know, even if we're doing something, there is a part of us that says, man, I really just don't want to be doing this.
Yeah. But the trade-off for me is I get to go and talk about myself for like half an hour, which is something I love to do.
Right.
According to every ex-girlfriend and every person who's ever known me. Brandon likes to talk about himself a little bit.
It's the whole reason he wanted to start a podcast. He just wanted to talk about himself.
Exactly.
Before we were called Dueling Ogres, it was just called The Brandon Show, starring Brandon Full with Rem.
By the way, Remington's on
it. So I don't know. I hope. Do you want me to send you this link so you can?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe it'll be something that you can give a go, and maybe it'll help you out. I like being able to help my friend.
And your friend likes being helped.
Yes. So I don't know where we were going.
No, that's just what I've been up to, is what I was talking about there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I'm allowed to talk about myself sometimes, Remington.
Well, I'm glad that your second experience went a little better than before. So
yeah. So I think it's going to be a good year, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Do you want to get to our first news story?
Yes.
Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
Have you ever seen Robocop?
Yes.
What did you think about it? Is it a good movie? Like the original 80s movie?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Are we talking original 80s Robocop?
Yes. I
think for the time, it was a little campy, but it was still an enjoyable movie to watch.
Okay. Sorry, your video just did something really weird.
Okay.
You like slowed down and everything went weird, and then you sped up. So you were really low and slowed down like you were in a time portal, and then you just went really fast and sped up and caught up with yourself.
Nice.
It was fucking weird. It was almost like you're a robot. But that's ridiculous, because I would know that my best friend would be a robot, right?
Yeah, you would know that, Brandon. I would tell you if I were a robot.
It's funny you would say it exactly like that, though. That's what makes me know that you're not lying.
Why?
Because you're so truthful, and because you're so monotone, which is how you can tell a human is telling the truth.
That's true. If there's no expression in a human's voice, they're obviously telling a truth.
Me and my buddy. So I've seen a clip from Robocop where he just shoots like 8 dudes in the dick.
Okay.
Is that from the first Robocop?
I mean, it's been a lot of fucking years since I've seen Robocop. I don't remember him shooting people in the dick.
I don't think it was an edit either. I feel like it was an actual scene, and it might not have been the first Robocop, but he comes upon like a gang of guys that look like they're about to like basically rip the clothes off of a woman, and she's screaming.
Yeah.
And he pops up and they're all and pull knives on him, and he just shoots every one of them in the dick. Pointedly aims to shoot them in the penis. Did you find it?
Jesus. God almighty. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. What the fuck?
Hey, send me the link to that real quick so I can remember to link it in the episode so the listeners can watch this.
I'll have to pull it back up.
Okay, that's fine. You can send it later.
I was so done with it, I just exited.
Was that from the first RoboCop?
Okay. The first bit of that scene, if I am not mistaken, was from the first RoboCop. The rest of it was an addition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think that first one was an actual scene from RoboCop.
Oh, and then the rest they just added people in?
Yes, like just more dicks to be shot. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Because when I watched it, I was like, man, I'm missing out on RoboCop if this is what RoboCop is like.
Right.
But regardless, they are doing a new RoboCop movie written by the writer of the original RoboCop. And this RoboCop movie is a direct sequel to the first RoboCop.
Okay.
No, RoboCop 2 and 3 thrown right out the window. Forget them. They don't exist anymore.
Okay, so 2 and 3 are no longer canon.
Apparently, once this new RoboCop comes out.
Okay.
So what is your opinion on that? Do you have any RoboCop opinions?
Not really. I didn't see the remake, and it's hard to beat Peter Weller as RoboCop.
Yeah.
Especially considering that he was and is like a professor of history.
Really?
Yeah. Peter Weller, after RoboCop, I think he did a few more movies, but he went into teaching history. He has actually done some specials on like the History Channel about ancient history. Wow. Yeah. So that's the thing that less that I like the RoboCop franchise, and more that I like the story of Peter Weller playing RoboCop and then becoming a fucking teacher.
He's apparently a pretty prolific actor too. I pulled him up on Wikipedia. He's been in over 70 movies.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
Yep, he was in that.
Can you give me the Cliff's Notes version of what The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai is about?
No. Another really weird 80s movie that I have seen. It was very enjoyable in the weird sense. It also kind of had a B-rate movie vibe, more so than RoboCop even did. And God, it was a weird one, but I don't remember it. It's not fresh enough in my head that I could give you a play-by-play of Buckaroo Banzai.
Is it worth checking out though?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
See, I always get Buckaroo Banzai and Flash Gordon confused.
Yeah, they are definitely two different properties.
Are they similar as far as what the story is?
No.
Is it like space hero clad in unitard, saving the world kind of thing?
No, not that at all, actually. No, I'd say they're pretty different movies.
Okay. I just pulled up a cover. It's just a dude dressed like a typical 80s New York journalist or police officer on the cover.
For Buckaroo Banzai?
Yeah.
You're not looking at the right pictures.
It has Jeff Goldblum in it?
It does indeed.
Yeah, no, it's the right cover. Weird. Anyway, that's my RoboCop story.
Yeah. Well, that's a good story.
It's going to be one of those episodes, I think, listeners.
Yeah, I think we'll probably just put that video link down in there and watch it at your own risk, and don't watch it at work because it's you see penis.
Yeah, you definitely see a penis get shot off.
You see a lot of penises. And a lot of penises being shot. And it is... I had to quit watching it. Because it just got a little too...
What got too real for you, Remington?
Yeah, it got too real for me. It got too real for me seeing all those fake rubbery penises being blown off. So
you can understand my confusion with Robocop then.
yes, I can. I can understand it.
Because I didn't realize that was edited together.
Yeah. So in other entertainment news, something a little further away from penises, the show Inhumans, which was supposed to be kind of the Marvel spinoff of another property.
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be canceled and not getting a season 2. It already hasn't been getting very good reviews anyway. I think that there was probably a lot of potential there, but from what I have heard, the performances were dry, the writing was crappy, some of the special effects were like meh, things of that nature. I don't really know much about the Inhumans when it comes to comics, of course.
I know the Inhumans, there's not a whole lot about them, but I know that they're affected by the Terrigen Mist.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And we've seen a little bit of that in like Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I honestly don't know how those two things tie together. But Inhumans is kind of like an X-Man, only not.
Okay.
Instead of it just being like something that you're born with, you were a product, or your ancestors were a product of manipulation by the Kree, if I remember right.
Okay.
And they messed with some of our genes, and when we are exposed to this Terrigen Mist, these latent genes become active and we get superpowers.
Like our Levi's?
Yes, or our dungarees.
Okay. So once our dungarees become active, then we become inhuman.
Yes.
Okay. That sounds like a pretty solid idea for a show.
Yeah. But I don't think that these Inhumans work anything like the other Inhumans that we see in S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know. Perhaps Jordan can maybe fill us in a little bit more on it. But regardless of that, IMAX primarily funded the series, and they have said that they won't be doing so again and won't be working with Marvel TV again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is from Cosmic Book News, and it gets, as far as like PC corporate jargon goes, this is about as brutal as you can get, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I'm going to read the quote by CEO Rich Gelfand. Going forward, we intend to take a more conservative approach consistent with the Game of Thrones approach to capital investments in content. We will be more conservative when considering whether to invest our own capital, and if so, to what extent. So, I mean, that's, like I said, it sounds pretty PC, but it's just like, in my head, what that translates to is, man, fuck that show, fuck Marvel TV, see if we ever give you money again.
Well, does the Inhumans have, is that the one that has the lady with the red hair?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The hair, okay. I mean, that had a really rocky launch from the beginning.
Yeah, it did.
Because they released the first episode in IMAX as like a 2-hour movie/episode thing.
Right.
And the reviews coming out of that were just all universally panning it.
Yeah. The article goes on, likewise, now I'm just going to verbatim, likewise, ABC Entertainment chief Channing Dungey, D-U-N-G-E-Y, recently...
Dungey, like Dungaroo, I like it.
Okay. Recently hinted at the demise of Inhumans. It didn't perform well for us at the level that we would have wanted. We haven't made any official decision yet about what we're going to pick up in May, but I will say that the numbers, unfortunately, were less exciting for us than we hoped they would be. And if you were to go to Disney/ABC's press site, Marvel Inhumans has been removed from the press site, but you can still find it on the ABC Live site.
Okay.
So it seems very much that they're making moves to just remove it from the press side of things where it's going to be dead.
See, because apparently I was looking up this story to read along with you, and I found an article on the AV Club that said, no, it hasn't been canceled yet.
Yeah, it's not officially been canceled.
but everything surrounding it says yes, it's been canceled.
Yeah, it's not looking good. There has also been said to be contention between ABC and Marvel TV over the future of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., as reportedly ABC didn't want to renew S.H.I.E.L.D. last year, but CEO and chairman Ike Perlmutter stepped in to continue the series. So I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is in season 7?
Is that a show you're still following up with? You're still watching?
I think that would be season 6, not season 7 from the look of it. It's not. We have it recorded. We haven't gotten around to catching up on it yet.
Are you just behind the newest season, or are you pretty far behind?
We're 2 seasons behind. We've really honestly, we've been putting the DC stuff first.
So Flash and Green Arrow? Yeah,
Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, Legends. Legends is campy, but it's still watchable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it the best of the offerings. And I think everybody kind of acknowledges that, which is probably why they're still hanging on.
Is it fun, campy?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy watching the show, but we've talked about this before, how I'm a bad judge of that. Because I'll just sit there and watch something. Is it good? I don't know. Is it bad? I don't know. It's on there, so I'm watching it. It's the same. Like, I'll get into it, but I'll get into watching a game of football if it's on the TV as well. So,
yeah, I could barely pull you away from the Nuremberg trials.
Yeah.
So once you sit down in front of something, you are zoned in.
Yeah, it's really rough. I mean, it's tantamount to an addiction, I guess. That's why I don't watch TV anymore. It's all YouTube. So yeah, I mean, I think it's something that was pretty apparent that Inhumans probably wasn't going to get a season 2 anyway. Marvel likes to fight for their stuff, but yeah, I mean, as far as DC television goes, the DC stuff has just been, I would say, better. I mean, you have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and it's been plugging along, but I hate to say it, I was kind of done with it after like season 3.
And I've seen a lot of people online talking the same thing about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, and Agents
just overdone.
Yeah, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. it had a rocky start as well. It really took some time for people to get into it. I mean, just throwing Coulson into it wasn't really enough to kick it off of the thing. People were kind of confused by the fact, like, didn't we watch him die? You know, oh, he's being retconned back into life. He was on Tahiti.
Yeah, the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I tried to get into and just could not. I know we've talked about it quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it's just not a show for me. I feel like Flash would be good.
I really like Flash, and I like Grant Gustin as Flash as well. I think he makes a really good Flash. So
I wonder why Marvel is dropping the ball so hard in the TV department.
I don't know. Maybe they're just spending too much time on the movies.
I honestly, and it's not often that I talk high of DC because I don't read a whole lot of DC comics, but I feel like the characters that DC are offering forwards, like the Flash, Green Arrow, just have a richer backstory to them that's interesting to watch in an episodic format. Whereas, you know, it's a S.H.I.E.L.D., Inhumans, stuff like that. Do they really have that interesting of a backstory? Something that you can stretch out for 7 seasons.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Supergirl has been established for a long time. Flash, I mean, they have introduced multiple versions of the Flash. I mean, that in itself is very much, I mean, we have seen comics follow different iterations of the Flash.
Yeah.
You know, not just Barry Allen, but the other ones whose names I can't think of at the moment.
Wally West was one of them.
Yeah, Wally West. I'm not going to sit here and try and think of him because I didn't read much. I didn't read a lot of DC comics. I didn't read a lot of
Legs McKenzie.
Yeah, Legs McKenzie. I'm here to run real fast, fellas. Move on out of the way. Ha cha 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 cha.
I'm coming in like a flash. Ha cha.
Ah, that's where I got the name.
Aha.
See, I'm quick-witted too. Ha.
Nobody likes Legs McKenzie.
No, that's why he was dead on arrival.
Yeah.
They
said they're taking me out to a farm.
New Flash, dead on arrival.
So speaking of dead on arrival, Remington, did you see the ad for the new Nintendo Labo? Or Labo?
We had both seen it last week, and I actually had it in my notes to talk about. This is the create your own stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had it in my notes to talk about, and I think we just kind of ran long on time, or we just didn't get to it. So yes, I did see it.
So if you're listening and you haven't seen it, what it is Nintendo is releasing this thing that is basically a perforated cardboard box.
Yeah.
That you can buy different sets for. So there's a robot set, there's a maker set, and I think there's a third one. But you unperforate the box and build stuff almost, what would you compare it to? Almost like Lego style.
Yeah, I would say that that's a fair comparison. I mean, they're pre-perforated, so you can just kind of punch them out and then fold them where you need to fold them, and then you can just make your own stuff.
Yeah, and then somehow you incorporate, they haven't been completely transparent yet about how it works, but somehow you incorporate your Switch controllers into these contraptions, and then it comes with a Switch game that you say. I know I'm not being very coherent because the ads themselves are not very coherent in how it works.
Right, yeah.
Somehow the controllers interact with what you've built out of cardboard, and you can make like robots, and you can make, they show a human made out of cardboard that walks, like a little mini human cut out cardboard thing.
Yeah, and like a little fishing pole that you can go fishing with, I guess.
Yeah, the one that gets me is the fully playable piano.
Yeah, that one's weird.
Yeah, I read a Reddit AMA with a journalist who got to try out the piano, and he said it works.
Huh.
There's like rubber bands or something that you have to put in there to build to make it work.
Yeah, but how does the Switch enter into all of this? That's what I want to know.
The Switch has some really, when they first announced it, I really got into reading about the tech in the Switch controllers.
Yeah.
The Switch controllers have some really amazing technical innovations inside of them.
Ah, okay. So just like
as far as sensors go and stuff like that.
Yeah, just like a lot of motion sensors and this and that and the other.
Yeah, they have a very fine-tuned motion sensor. And then they have an IR reader, which I guess is how it works to play the piano.
Okay.
Is with infrared somehow.
Okay, so that makes sense. Because there are like IR keyboards that you can get, and it shoots out just a laser representation of a keyboard, and there is motion sensors that detect where your fingers are hitting said keys.
Yes.
So I think that's probably the same kind of tech that they're using, because I mean that the infrared keyboard is really, it can fit into the palm of your hand.
Yeah, I've seen videos on YouTube of people playing those.
Yeah,
like in smoke-filled cafes.
Right.
Playing like the Final Countdown and shit like that.
Right. Yeah.
I make a joke about it being dead on arrival. I don't think it's going to sell very well. Yeah. Just my personal opinion. I think it's awesome though.
Right. I think you're right. I think it'll lose it's very innovative, and that's one thing that Nintendo is known for, is being pretty innovative with their stuff. Not following the standard norm, not making a controller that looks exactly like all the other controllers. Nintendo 64 controller with its third little penis leg, case in point. So, they're really well known for their innovative things, but by the same token, the fresh newness of it all tends to wear off fairly quickly.
In what way do you mean?
Just, everybody who wants to try it gets it, and then there's nobody else who's interested in it.
Yeah. I don't know. The Switch is selling so hardcore, though.
That's true. I mean, I want one, for sure.
Yeah, I want one, too. And you have a story, I guess you'll probably follow this up with, if it was a story you were going to talk about where developers stand on the Switch development.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I won't spoil your story to lead into it, but people are excited about the Switch.
Yeah.
The cardboard, I don't know, because it's $80.
Yeah. And that's
$80 is pretty pricey.
It is, and it depends a lot on what kind of cardboard oh my god, what kind of cardboard they're using, the printing process, the stippling process of cutting the things into the cardboard pieces. I mean, that seems awfully pricey for cardboard.
Well, to be fair, it also comes with a copy of the game.
True.
Which, even if you factored in $20, you should be able to buy the game for by itself. So $60 for the cardboard.
Yeah.
Which still is pretty pricey because it's effectively a children's toy.
Yeah, exactly.
But Nintendo is really pushing with this the maker movement, and they name check the maker movement with this in their press release.
Yeah, for sure.
And have said that going forward they want the Switch to be available to the maker movement for all kinds of different things.
Right.
Which is an interesting way to go with it, because PlayStation and Xbox, Nintendo could really get a market on that maker movement. The maker movement is fucking huge.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, I think this is a win for Nintendo. I mean, we'll have to see how it plays out when the cardboard releases. I don't think they gave it a actual release date yet, but I'm curious to see where it goes. At my last job when I worked at NASA, this strikes me as the kind of thing that we would get like 2 or 3 in ever and have people 3 or 4 times a day calling to ask if we had the Nintendo Labo. Something that Nintendo will understock and that everybody will want.
Hey, Ogres, I'm just going to jump right in here real quick to let you know that I accidentally lost the rest of the podcast episode. So that's a thing that happened. I guess we'll just catch you next week. Seems like a pretty good idea. I'll try to make sure that I don't screw it up any more than I already did. So, yeah. I'd like to give thanks to anybody who commented. I think the only person who did was Viscount Terry W. Irvin II, who decided to link a Babylon 5 clip every day until we release the next podcast. Thank you very much for that. I don't think anybody else had as of this recording. So if you have any questions or comments, or you'd like to hear yourself on air, you can call us at 978 DU-OGRES. That's 978-386-4737. You can also reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres, email us at duelingogres@gmail.com, or leave a comment on the Facebook page. Be sure to hit up our website at duelingogres.com and sign up for email subscription on whenever we release new episodes or articles, or even I think I'm going to go ahead and start posting the videos that we've been doing on Twitch lately. So I've been doing some live streaming like we mentioned, and I've been putting those up on YouTube as well. So you can go over and check those out if you'd like. If you'd like to support the show, you can either head over to Humble Bundle and see if there's anything that you like over there. You can either give to us or the publishers or to charity. Any of those things would be nice. Just let us know that you did it, because man, do I love knowing that people are helping somebody out. Or if you would like to leave a donation, since I started streaming on Twitch, I started using what they call Streamlabs. And you can actually, it's a very simple task to put together donations either through PayPal or through credit cards. And there will be a link down in the show notes that you can click on that as well if you'd like. They are always appreciated and never required, of course. So I also, today, while I was fiddling around and catching up on things, I found a really cool website with a whole lot of potential merch that I might be able to get sooner or later. So we had discussed doing a Patreon. I remember Diamond Man Stephen Hines saying that he would support us on that if we were to ever open one up. And I've always wanted to, but I've never had like incentives to drop those in. So, if you'd like to give donations, that's great. Maybe if I start building up I want to see what the quality of this merch is, but I'd really like to just be able to have like buttons that have the Dueling Ogres logo, or coffee mugs, or this or that and the other. Really exciting. So also looking forward to hopefully Jordan Lowe will let us know how many things we got wrong talking about Inhumans. So I think that wraps up the episode. Thank you so much for listening. And as always, ogres, keep your clubs blunt and your tusks sharp. Good night.